Star Wars situates itself far from the present and deep in the past, a past so far from our reality that it is not recognizable, and that might otherwise lead us to believe Star Wars is in fact taking place in the future. By looking back to a long time ago, Star Wars participates in the construction of alternative history. This alternative history is a mechanism of rewriting the present and inciting nostalgia for the now, as well as for the past that created that now, as Hoagland and Sarwell state. The dual imperialism of Star Wars is the imperialism in the film itself and the symbol and message that Star Wars became within American history and imagination. The film follows the Rebel Alliance's journey to destroy the new Death Star, while also concluding the narrative arc of one of the primary protagonists, Luke Skywalker. It is this narrative, the conflict between Luke Skywalker and his father, Darth Vader, and the tension between the dark side of the Force and the light side that they represent, that I will discuss through the lens of imperialism, history, and imagined identity. Luke's narrative is consumed with his urge to redeem his father from being Darth Vader, tempered by his desire to bring down the Empire, and countered by the Emperor and Darth Vader's attempts to draw Luke to the dark side. This narrative peaks in one of the final scenes, a battle between Luke and Darth Vader orchestrated by the Emperor. Luke's anger is weaponized until he lowers his lightsaber, turns it off, and says, "I will not fight you, Father." Luke's insistence on redeeming his father illustrates the creation and persistence of an imagined identity. This narrative of salvation can also be understood as an alternative history, one in which Anakin Skywalker was not destroyed when he became Darth Vader, but has instead remained somewhere within. Luke cuts his father's hand off and then stops fighting. In this moment, Vader has been defeated, but Anakin lives on. It is Anakin Skywalker who picks the Emperor up and throws him to his death after the Emperor has threatened Luke with death, ultimately saving Luke's life and bringing down the Empire. The identity that Luke had created, a man who was lost and could be redeemed, did not become real until that moment. This rewriting of personal history mirrors the rewriting of collective history that Star Wars represents. The restoration of Anakin Skywalker coincides with the restoration of freedom in the galaxy by way of destruction of the new Death Star and the Galactic Empire. But in both cases, the path to freedom is simple and straightforward. This is because in both cases, the cause for downfall has been rewritten. Imperialism is overthrown because there was freedom in the first place to restore. Darth Vader is saved because before he was Darth Vader, his true self was Anakin Skywalker. These narratives of redemption, Darth Vader to the light side, Anakin Skywalker and the galaxy from the Galactic Empire to freedom at the hands of the Rebel Alliance, parallel a narrative of anti-oppression and rebellion constructed by the American imagination. The Star Wars narratives similarly rely on an imagined reality of Darth Vader's goodness and reconstructed past, of freedom from the Empire. Both of these, in conjunction with the placement of the entire storyline in the past, reflect on the legacy of imperialism and how this legacy is perpetuated in its denial.